I have a quick spiritual question, right? Now, you guys know I was raised in a Christian household. Christianity is something that I've been around for a long time, and I'm at that point in my life where I'm on the fence, right? But I'm leaning more towards Christianity. But this has nothing to do with my faith. Current question is, back when Jesus was alive and Jesus was performing miracles before he was crucified, how did people not believe him? Now, I understand somebody might say, like, oh, they thought it was witchcraft, or they thought he was a poser, or they thought he was only a prophet. I understand that, but if it's biblically accurate, which I would assume it would be, if it's biblically accurate, there were times, for example, there was a time that he turned water into wine. How do you explain that? Besides, like, if I was back in that day, obviously my thoughts would have been, oh, this is some form of alchemy. Which, even if it was a form of alchemy, wouldn't that have made him an alchemist? Which means he would have been the first of his kind. Meaning, he still would have had some merit. Like, they should have worshipped him at the time, even just for that. Somebody that has the ability to perform alchemy is basically a god from fictional, you know what I mean? So I'm saying, at the level of, let's say, alchemy that he was performing, you would think, oh my god, this dude is like, he's him, he's the LeBron James of like this witchcraft. So you would automatically have a genuine amount of people saying like, oh my god, this is absolute peak, we need to follow him and study him. Like, you know, like we obviously need to get that. Second example right here, right? There was a time, I forget the story, but there was a time that there were rushing waves, and I believe Jesus was on a boat with multiple people, and basically the waves were going crazy and insane, and Jesus just straight hopped out the boat and started walking on water. How the hell do you explain that? That's when it transcends alchemy, and now we're like, what the fuck are we looking at? For those people that were on the boat, for you to not, and I believe the lesson of that story was, Jesus called to one of the men on the boat, he ended up walking on the water with him, because he said, if you're a believer in me and you have faith within me, then you should be able to walk on water as well. And the man said, Jesus, if you're able to walk on these waters and you command it to be calm and it listens to you, then I will follow you. So he follows him into the water and he's good. But I'm saying, from a rational human perspective in these times, why would nobody believe that? Like, if I saw that visually with my eyes in first person, like if I'm on a small boat or a boat, whatever, a ship, whatever it is, but I think it was just a boat. If I'm on a boat with rushing waves and everything's crashing, there's thunder everywhere and it feels like we're about to die, and I see somebody on the boat walk on the water, I don't think you understand like how tough that is, right? And all do glaze, like this is glaze. But if I saw this, you would be a dumbass to say like, oh, this dude's like, he's not God, like he's not a god. I would immediately think this dude has some kind of supernatural powers. Even if he was like Superman, people worshipped Superman in his timeline and in his story because they have abnormal power. If I saw somebody walking on water, no tricks, like I'm talking rushing waves, like everything crashing, tides, and he's just walking chill as hell, like this dude just woke up and he's just walking on water, I would think A, I'm tweaking, or B, this guy is like fucking insane. Scenario number 3, the men that followed God or followed Jesus in this time and age and would listen to Jesus were also given these superpowers. Let's talk about this. Moses splitting the fucking sea. How do you, like, this shit baffles me. Even if you weren't religious, even if you didn't believe who Jesus was, if you saw this, you would have to at least think like Moses is a god. Like, you would be foolish to not believe that shit. So if I straight up see a man like this, we're getting chased by Egyptians, we just got released, and bro hits like, you shall not pass, and the Red Sea just splits. What the fuck? How do you explain that shit? That's what I'm saying. Like, you would be stupid to not believe. Like, you would, I don't know what you would have to convince yourself. You would probably think, or the rational person, the normal rational person would probably think to themselves, you know what, I'm obviously smoking too much indica, let me relax. Maybe when I get home I need to chill, because there's no way in hell this water just like, and I'm like walking with the sharks in this dry land that's in path, and then once you and your people cross, it just collapses. And it kills the army that was chasing you. There's, how do you see what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Another example right here, right? I believe it was Moses that did this. When the 10 Commandments were made, I believe he walked up there with just 2 slates of, what's it called? Like rock, right? Empty, plain, right? Goes up the hill, and he's talking, and he comes back down, by the way, after this. He comes back down babbling about how there was a burning bush and yada, 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 yada. I don't remember how long he was up there for, right? It's been a long time since I read these stories, but I don't remember how long he was up there for. But you obviously hear the lightning and all that stuff, and you're like, okay, this guy's dumb, why is he walking up the hill? But at this time, you're probably a follower, like, you believe in it. He comes back down. 10 commandments, 5 on this side, 5 on this side. And he says, oh yeah, a lightning bolt struck these, and yeah, like a burning bush gave them to me. What are you supposed to think? Like, what do you think is going through these people's head? They're probably like, right, that makes sense. Complete sense. I would have thought that I was in a psychedelic state in all of this. Another example, the day that Jesus was crucified, I believe the Roman pillar, I forgot what, or not pillar, but the Roman, like, it was a building of some sort. It had these, not tarps, but flags, I guess, or something like that, that fell. The building was split in half. The moon, I mean, not the moon, but the sky, like, darkened, and everything got, like, really weird all of a sudden, the second that Jesus died. Nobody thought to themselves, you know, maybe this guy wasn't lying. Maybe we should believe this shit. Nobody thought that? Okay, what's another example? The superhuman strength alone, as well. We could talk about the day that he was crucified once again. He was beat. His bones and guts damn near was showing. It was a lot more gruesome than it looked in movies, right? His ribcage was showing. He probably had some form of intestines, probably almost hanging out, like skin stripped off his body, like crown of thorns, blood. Like the amount of blood he would have lost alone should have A, killed a normal human, B, made a normal human weak enough to where they couldn't move, C, the amount of damage would have put your body in so much shock that you wouldn't have been able to function, and D, there's no way physically possible, unless you were the Incredible fucking Hulk or Wolverine, that you were going to carry that heavy ass wooden cross. I'm not sure how many of you guys have like a queen size bed. You put that queen size bed on your back and tell me how far you think you can carry that shit. Okay, my point exactly. Now multiply that by, I don't know, 30 or something like that, like well above that. And then, even worse, make it uneven weight. So if you've ever lifted something that's long, like a broomstick, right? Or a barbell, matter of fact. Have you ever tried that challenge where you lift the barbell like that? That's essentially what you're doing on your back. The weight is heavier on the front side, so you're not only crippled like this, but you're going up hills, you're going far distances, and a lot of you guys can't even walk with 50 pounds on your body 4 miles before collapsing. So the absolute, like, insane amount of strength that this man must have possessed, did that not convince anybody? And there's so many other countless miracles that I'm like, did this not convince a single soul that maybe, at the minimum, at the very bare minimum, this guy is a witch of some sort? And even if so, witches don't have that capability. And this guy is prophesizing all the time that he's the son of God and like he has all these abilities and he can do whatever he wants pretty much through God. Me personally, as a human being, my initial thought would be, let me follow this guy and see like what he's talking about, because he obviously knows something that I fucking don't. Even if he's an alchemist, even if he's a witch, even if he's some like cultist, any of these weird things that they were thinking of at the time, I would have been like, hey, he's obviously prophesizing about something. Maybe if I follow it for a bit, maybe he'd be right. I don't know. He's done all these crazy things. Like if we saw somebody in this day and age doing that crazy thing, it's sad to say that the same thing that happened to Jesus back in the day would most likely happen now, and we would try to crucify / cut that person open and hide them. But I feel like personally, if somebody came to me and was like, I'm the son of God, first I'd say, get the hell out of my face, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But if this dude straight up was like, watch this, boom, and the sky just split in half, like I'd be like, you got it, bro, you got me, bro. What do you want me to do? Like, I don't know. I feel like that's just logical. Somebody let me know. But basically, to return back to my original point, what was going on in people's head? I know there has to be some form of explanation, or maybe people were, like I said, just in disbelief. What was the reasoning behind people that you didn't even need faith at that time? It feels like what was there to be faithful of? You can see this with your own eyes. Like, this is the greatest human being that ever lived, as described in the Bible. So what faith would have been needed besides the fact that he's the son of God? But if you see these things in firsthand, like, wouldn't you think, okay, let me listen to what he's saying. You know what I mean? What faith were you having to run off of? It wasn't even that you needed faith of God, because you obviously know something had to be creating this. But I mean, once again, it was an older time, older people, different mindset, so it makes a little bit more sense. But I'm also saying, in this current day and age, the exact same stuff would have been going on. And I guess the faith have to kind of tie it into, like, the belief in what's actually happening is actually happening and that you're not tripping. Because, bro, I feel like that would have been crazy. I would have immediately been like, you know what, bro? I'm 100% for what you're doing. I don't understand it. I don't think I know what you're talking about, but, like, I'm willing to learn and willing to follow if that means that I'm good. Like, this is the equivalent of, like, a millionaire coming to you and being like, I'm low-key. Not even low-key. He was preaching this to the nations. If he was like, a millionaire comes to you and says, you know what, bro, I can make your life better. Not a lot of people know about me right now, but I'm the son of who's the richest man on earth? I don't know. Let's say like some African dude came up to you and was like, hey, I'm the son of Kunta Kinte, and like I have millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars and absolutely crazy amounts of national power over like Africa and all the surrounding countries. You'd be like, I don't believe that shit. And he flexes like $1 billion in your face. You'd be a fool to not believe that. And these were feats that were millions of times greater than flexing bread. You know what I mean? So I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe one of you guys can explain it in more of a biblically rooted sense, but like, I don't get where the people were coming up with the whole idea like he's not who he actually says he is. I don't know. Once again, I'm just kind of venting on the page. This is probably gonna be my YouTube video for today, but yeah, you guys let me know, man. I love you guys. I'll see y'all later, man. Peace.